What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. I hope everybody had an excellent day. It has been a long one. When that alarm clock went off, you get 3 or 4 hours of sleep. You're annoyed, you're tired, you're frustrated, and the Jets have lost 3 in a row. And you kind of had that feeling the season's spiraling out of control, where you're going to reach the point of no return, where playoffs are an afterthought. Forget the AFC East, and you're just disgusted. So the Davante Adams trade gets announced, and normally you'd be excited, like, oh, we got Davante Adams, this is great. You almost feel like it's almost like a little too late, because you could have maybe helped the last 2 games, but he was hurt. But to me, it just felt like deodorant. Like when the Jets lost the Viking game, they feel like they fired Sal, they demoted Hackett. That was like, you know what? We washed away that stench. Now, last night is one of the worst losses you could have in a big-time spot, playing for first place, trying to save your season. And now it's like, we got Davante Adams. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore the last 3 losses, because now we're ready. Now we're focused. As Woody Johnson said, we're ready to kick ass. And it's just, I don't buy it. And the reason why I don't buy it, it's going to come off negative, is to me, this team has so many other bigger issues that they haven't addressed that are concerning to me. Let's start with the offensive line. It's great to have Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson and Lazard and Mike Williams, who's probably going to get traded. If you can't protect Aaron Rodgers, what are you going to do? Your offense is screwed. He's taking a beating back there. So if you can't protect him, you can't throw the ball, then you're going to see Tyrod Taylor. That's the first thing. So what do you do with Tyron Smith, who is struggling? Now, Ulbrich said today, well, he's a solid player. He's good in the locker room. He's good in meeting rooms. We need him good on the football field. So if he's going to struggle, either give him help or consider replacing him. Now, will an interim head coach do that? I'm not so sure. If you want to start getting Olu left tackle reps, then what are you going to do at right tackle with Morgan Moses banged up? Carter Warren and Max Mitchell have been inactive, but you have to have plan B and plan C, and it's a problem there. The defensive line is regressing. The loss of Jermaine Johnson is huge, and the interior of the defensive line is an absolute mess, where Kinlaw should have been benched, Michael Clemens is overmatched, Solomon Thomas is just a guy, and you don't know what. Will McDonald is still finding his way. I know he's amongst the league leader in sacks. They can't set the edge, they can't get a consistent pass rush, and they can't stop the run. That's an enormous problem. And now you have Reddick, I think, with the signing of Davante Adams with the contract, you've got to trade Reddick just from a financial standpoint. So that's the defensive line's a problem. The tackling on defense is pathetic. Now Chuck Clark is out, CJ Mosley can be coming back, and hopefully, but you're looking less like they're getting blown off the ball. There's no tenacity, there's no physicality, they're taking bad angles. That's a problem. Like, all these things are huge concerns. So if you have Davante Adams, great. Is he addressing any of these things? The penalty problem is gross. That's a lack of discipline, a lack of focus, concentration, coaching, whatever it could be. It's an enormous problem where you're getting up 100 yards a game penalties, where you can't keep doing these kind of things. The kicker is huge. He's literally cost you 2 games, and they're talking about like he's going to work through it. This isn't preseason. You don't have a 35-game season here. When you figure it out week 15, it's like a relief pitcher when they lose their fastball. They're cooked. You've got to have the balls to make a change. Everybody wants to talk about accountability. They want to act like this big-time organization. Woody Johnson goes to the owners' meeting talking about, we're going to kick ass. He's talking all this stuff. Like, bro, act like it then. You want to talk the talk. You made the splash move. You're acting like a desperate win-now team. I feel like you're putting Band-Aids on a Titanic, because it just seems like you're trying to fix every little hole, and the other holes keep getting bigger. But if you want to act like this big boy organization, you fire your coach early in the season, then make a power move. Cut the kicker. Bench Kinlaw. Do all these different things. You have to. So will they do it? I don't know. The other thing with Woody Johnson, too, the Jets are talking like they're an established organization that's won a lot of things. They're 2-4. And then he says, thinking is overrated. You got to act with instinct. Really, Woody? If that was the case, you would have fired Hackett last year. You could have fired Sal last year, too. So a lot of things you could have did if your instinct was smart, which we know it's not, that you would have already taken care of. The other thing, you look at how this team, like, the one thing that Woody Johnson said, I know I'm negative as hell right now. I'm trying to turn the page here, but the one thing Woody Johnson kept saying was, this is the best assembly of talent he's seen in 25 years with the Jets. If you look at this offseason, piece by piece, and the moves that Joe Douglas has made, they're literally blowing up in his face. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these moves he made were like Band-Aid fixes, because he didn't correctly develop the offensive line. Becton failed, whatever else. So he brings in, he has Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith. That's not really working out. Mike Williams, that's not really working out. Unfortunately, I'm surprised by that, but he's coming off an injury. That's just not working out. The defensive line, all the moves in there. I knew Fotu just came back. That's not, I mean, you look at all these moves and over like all the free agent moves, the Reddick trade, that's a disaster. Like, there is really nothing that you could put your hat on right now saying, you know what, I believe in this. So you went out and you're selling your soul with compensation with draft picks over the next couple of years to get Rodgers. Rodgers was a Band-Aid because you blew it with the quarterback. Now you got Davante. It's like you're selling your soul for this season and you got to hope it's working out. And that, like, it's like trying to buy a championship, and that normally doesn't work in the NFL, especially when you have this much dysfunction and a lack of bona fide leadership. So as you turn the page, which, listen, we're all going to be in the same boat where we're pissed off, we're angry as hell today, and we got to try to rally around, like, you know what, beat the Steelers. Their next goal is get back to 500 as soon as possible, and maybe finally things will kick in. But there is so much internal cleansing that needs to be done with this team that can they get it done within the next few weeks? I'm not so sure, man. Maybe because I'm a skeptic, maybe because I've seen this before, or I just don't think the talent's there or the ability to lead this team is there. And, you know, the more you see with Aaron Rodgers, you're getting a little more turned off, and the things you heard about him in Green Bay, slowly but surely, when adversity starts and the losing starts, you start seeing how this all plays out. But we'll see. I guess as Jet fans, we had no choice, beat the Steelers and rally it, but there are alarming things here that you can sign all the players you want. If you don't coach it up and get this team to play more as a team and play above what they're supposed to play, nothing's going to change.